Thank you, President DeGioia, Provost Groves, Dean Grivich, and Professor Davis for inviting me to speak at the 2019 Georgetown Graduate School of Arts and Sciences Commencement and bestowing upon me the honorary degree of Doctorate of Humane Letters. Good morning, Georgetown graduates. This is your very special day, so let's take a moment and applaud your accomplishment and also applaud the support of your family, friends, and teachers, which has made this day possible. It is a real great pleasure for me to return to my alma mater and share this memorable day with you as a fellow Hoya. I'm accompanied by my wife Karen and two children, Hannah and Lucas, and I'm thankful to them for their support and encouragement. Also in the audience are my two brothers, David and Michael, and their children who attend Georgetown. It is also very special for me to have my closest faculty mentor, Professor Wayne Davis, introduce me. Professor Davis is not only a great philosophy teacher, but also an avid tennis player who back in the day would challenge me and my teammates on the Georgetown tennis team to a grueling match. So watch out for Professor Davis. It is also a great honor for me to be invited by Dean Grivich. At University of Southern California, we worked together on understanding retinal neurobiology, which contributed to the making of the world's first bionic retina to restore sight to the blind. The bionic retina, called Argus, as you heard, consists of an electronic chip implanted in the eye that wirelessly converts images from a camera in a glass frame, such as these, into controlled electrical pulses. So once the otherwise blind patient wears these glasses with the camera, such as this, there is a video processing unit that wirelessly converts the information and sends this into their implanted chip in their eye, which triggers controlled patterns of electrical pulses that jumpstart the remaining neurons in the blind eye into seeing. So how did all this start, and how can what I've learned potentially help you? For me, it started with education at Georgetown. Georgetown was a very fostering place, a place where I made lifelong friendships and got an education that propelled me to do things I could not imagine. I'm sure it will fare you equally well. In school, especially graduate school, we're supposed to take a deep dive to learn a field very well. In other words, have great depth, which is important. It is a start, it's a great start, but in my opinion, not enough. Let me rephrase. It is enough if you want to practice what is known, but it's most likely not enough if you want to do something truly novel. In my case, I would not have been able to develop the bionic retina if I did not work at the intersection of two fields, two very different fields, that of engineering and medicine. I'm sure you're sitting there and saying, wait, does this mean that I need more education? I've already spent so much time in graduate school, and I'm frankly done with schooling. I don't blame you. I would not blame you for having such a reaction, but learning doesn't end upon leaving a wonderful place like Georgetown, and you can and should continue to learn in the real world. For example, you can partner with experts from other fields and work in interdisciplinary teams. And at first, such communications seem like the groups are speaking two different languages. I remember having my medical degree first and sitting there trying to understand what an integrated chip circuit meant, while my engineering colleagues asked me, why is sodium and potassium important to neurons? The more I tried and the more they tried, the worse it got initially. We were literally speaking different languages. It took perseverance. I had to learn, and in the process, got a PhD in biomedical engineering during my medical internship and ophthalmology residency, and the engineers had to learn how to speak biology. If it was not for being at the intersection of engineering and medicine, we would have never developed the bionic retina. This device, which is the first of its kind to be approved in the US by the FDA, and also is approved by regulatory agencies in Europe and around the world, enables a blind individual to regain useful vision. For example, it enables somebody who's totally blind to be able to see large objects read large letters, and walk without bumping and tripping over objects. You heard earlier from Professor Davis about my grandmother's blindness and how it motivated me to dedicate my professional career to restoring sight to the blind. So you'll appreciate why this next story is so special to me. A patient of mine who's a grandmother was at an amusement park with her grandson, who convinced her to ride a roller coaster. She did not like roller coasters. I don't like them either, but to go on the roller, but she wanted to go on the roller coaster with her grandson, thinking she would just close her eyes. But these glasses, which have the camera here, are wirelessly connected to the chip in the eye. So as you could guess, it doesn't matter whether your eyes are open or closed. So you could imagine how she felt when she realized that closing her eyes did not help her to overcome the terror of the roller coaster ride. Stories like this are not only humorous, but tell real-life experiences of blind patients who have regained sight and through it a sense of joy in their life. These stories are what keep me and also my colleagues continuing to work hard to make a difference. When we first started the Bionic Retina program, it was considered science fiction, and it is through persistent interdisciplinary convergence that we are fortunate enough to make this a science reality. Well, this is not only my experience, but the experience of many inventors and entrepreneurs. Steve Jobs, founder of Apple, learned about serif and sans serif typefaces and took his inspiration from this calligraphy training into the design of the Mac operating system so that it has a wide choice of fonts. He revolutionized the dull typeface present on the computers in the early 80s. During the development of the Bionic Eye, I can vividly recall the many daunting issues we were facing, and many, if not all, were at the intersection of engineering and medicine. For example, how do you put a computer chip in the eye and have it not be damaged by the warm, saltwater, corrosive environment in the human eye? How to wirelessly connect the implanted chip to a camera and have the chip not burn or tear the delicate retina in the tissue? And how do you convey information from the camera to the brain in real time? After all, when crossing a street, you need to see the oncoming bus in real time and not tens of seconds later. We continue to learn more in order to improve resolution, color, and also to help those who have lost their eyes completely by working on potentially bypassing the eye and implanting a chip in the vision center of the brain, the visual cortex. Some of you in the audience have probably already connected the dots and realized that with this technology, we can connect any kind of camera image. So, the sci-fi techies always ask me about connecting the patient to an infrared or ultraviolet camera, enabling beyond human vision. But again, all of this would not have been possible without interdisciplinary convergence. I was very pleased to see that Georgetown offers an AB or BS in interdisciplinary studies. The website for interdisciplinary studies quotes Peter Hans Kolvenbach, SJ, former Father General of Society of Jesus, who said that interdisciplinary approach is the only significant way to heal the fracture of knowledge that results from separation and isolation of the work of the disciplines. But you're graduating, and you may not have had as many opportunities for interdisciplinary studies. So how can you make this a reality for you? Here's perhaps one way, called by some as Google Friday. Founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin highlighted this idea in their 2004 IPO letter. They stated, "We encourage our employees, in addition to their regular projects, to spend 20% of their time working on what they think will most benefit Google. This empowers them to be more creative and innovative. Many of our significant advances have happened in this manner. 20% is the equivalent of one workday out of a 5-day work week, hence the nomenclature Google Friday. But this is a different kind of TGIF. A day to take a break from your regular work in order to discuss with others about their work and vice versa, to develop interdisciplinary connections. Maybe it's not possible to take a whole day and seek out others outside your area in a company or your academic job. But even a few hours a week could turn out to be very useful. It is going to be hard, like learning a new language, but don't let that discourage you. And even if one such experience doesn't work out, don't let it sour you on this concept. We know that many of the fields and jobs of tomorrow may not even exist today. And I bet many of them will come from graduates as yourself who will be working in interdisciplinary teams. So try to break down silos and work across fields in an open-minded fashion. No question is too dumb to ask, and be generous and patient to teach others what you know. You will actually learn, if you don't know already, that teaching someone also helps clarify your concepts and furthers your understanding. Continuing to learn many years after graduation will keep you perpetually excited about your work. I hope that through sharing my experience and those of other renowned inventors and entrepreneurs, it has shed a light on this topic of working in interdisciplinary teams. This is just not my personal experience or anecdotal evidence. In fact, scientific studies, such as the one published in Administrative Science Quarterly in 2017, studied almost 900 scientists from a wide range of fields and universities and concluded that even if the individual level cost of such interdisciplinary work is substantial, meaning it's harder and takes longer, the societal level benefits in the form of more useful and valuable science seems clear. So I implore you to continue to learn and grow and develop your interdisciplinary convergence. Embrace other fields that are foreign to you and meld this knowledge with what you know so that you can change the world for better, be it restoring sight to the blind, solving hunger, tackling poverty, developing better forms of governance, all for the betterment of humanity. I wish you, the graduates, the very best, and Hoya Saxa.